Oh, Jesus. I'm sorry. It says it was June 22nd. I remember it was in the summertime. It was before we were like out for like the summer. So it says parts of his body were severed in the incident. Oh, see, I told you guys. I told you they cut his body parts off. It says parts of his body were severed in the incident and his throat was slit. He eventually bled to death. In an agreed statement of the facts about the case, the court heard that Broderick had been invited to Smith's apartment after they met in a nearby liquor store. Together, they drank and consumed some prescription drugs. At some point during the night, Smith was overpowered and stabbed to death with a knife from his own kitchen. The level of violence is admittedly horrific. Something about something out of a Stephen King novel, admitted defense attorney. It's almost unbelievable that this could happen in Nova Scotia. It's crazy that this happened a couple houses down from lived. I was just like a little 9-year-old kid wondering why they had hounds and police everywhere. Like I remember they had the hound dogs out, police everywhere, like couldn't even walk down my street because like police everywhere. It was all blocked off. I remember like my mom just sent us to go to the park for the day, like to just get away from the whole street. And I remember we just spent the day at the park. But yeah, they had the whole street blocked off till they found the murder weapon. Mm-mm-mm. That was the only time I ever seen police escorts at school, like around the playground and stuff. Never seen that before in my life. It says in a statement read to the court by Loy, Broderick said he could not explain his actions on June 22nd, 2008, or why he murdered Smith. I have remorse I'll carry with me for the rest of my life. He also referred to meet with Smith's family, answer any questions they may had on what happened that day. They ever wished to speak to him. Smith's sister appeared in court briefly to read a victim impact statement. She wrote of the nightmares and depression she experienced along with her sister and mother. I heard there was more than just one person involved in this, though. So that's interesting. And how she feared for her 91-year-old mother who would never recover from the shock that her only son's murder. Broderick nodded his head as Scanlon reared. Uh, uh, so. Psychiatric and psychological reports submitted to the court spoke of Broderick's borderline below average intelligence and a personality disorder that made him do whatever he had to do in order to keep friends. A thought that Scanlon said wasn't comforting. If you are willing to do this sort of thing to keep friends, does not. Wait, what do you mean to keep friends? He did this to keep friends? I'm confused. If you're willing to do this sort of thing to keep friends, it does not bode well with public safety, he said. Court also heard that Broderick had 26 prior convictions, although only one of them was of violent nature. He grew up in a series of foster homes. Hmm. In making his decision, Scanlon said he took into consideration Broderick's guilty plea, but set his life in prison and 17 years before parole satisfies the court. Although Broderick will be eligible to apply for parole after serving 17 years, there's no guarantee.